Hello. How's it going? Come on in, everyone. Woo! Do we have a very, very interesting live tonight? Tonight, we're going to be talking about budgeting for new lash artists. I'm going to be bringing on a guest speaker from SOCO Lashes, and she's going to be giving you guys the rundown of what you need to budget properly for your business. So let's go ahead and get started. Hope you guys are having a great night.
Hello.
Hi, Jena.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I never know where I'm going to be when I do a live on somebody else. I think I'm always at the bottom if I'm on your guys' live.
Yeah, I'm trying to get adjusted too. But
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I know we were supposed to go live earlier this week.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, so man, I know we had a call, so I was able to talk to you and kind of pick your brain and everything as far as collaborating with the school. And I'm so glad that you offered to come on and do a live to talk about budgeting, because a lot of our audience is new lash artists, people who are just breaking into the industry, whereas they are not so familiar with what it actually takes to be a business owner, because they're really just so consumed with just learning the craft. So I was really excited to be able for you to come on to kind of share that wisdom with the audience. Do you want to give a little quick bio, introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Hi, you guys. I'm Jena Cash. I am the founder of SOCO Lashes. We're the world's first eco-friendly brand. We created the 0.04 diameter, the biodegradable box. The shampoo lash bar is our most recent. I don't want to say invention, because we just kind of found soap and labeled it. But what else did we? There's a couple other things I can't remember. Oh yeah, our first product was the Jena lens. So we're the first market lens on the market that was geared towards lashes. I was a photographer for 10 years, so I used what I knew from that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm interested in that. I have to.
It's really cool.
Is that something that attached to your phone?
Yeah, I have. It's here is one. I don't know if you can see. Oh, it's on the other side. If you can see, I've got all of them lined up on my.
Oh my gosh!
So it's just a macro lens. The difference between our macro lens and other macro lenses that you see people selling on Amazon or other lash companies, we have an upgraded glass. It would be kind of equivalent to, I don't know if anybody's a photographer, but when you have a professional camera, you have I'm sure more, but two main different categories of glass. There's normal glass and then an L series, which is a luxury glass, which is what Canon calls it. So it's just slightly more crisp, and people will say well, why does it look different? It's the same exact lens. It's because we have upgraded glass.
Wow, that's awesome. I do dabble in the creative side of the marketing of the business. And I've been on sets with professional photographers, trying to get that perfect shot of the lash.
Yes.
And so I'm very intrigued that you actually went above and beyond and created your own lens specifically for lash artists. And then you have that insight of what we're really looking for. So I definitely want to give those a try. Wow. That is so awesome.
And we just released a new lens that has a light around it for people that don't have any natural light in the room, because I know a lot of people don't have natural light in their room. So
yes. Wow, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So how long have you been doing lashes?
I have been in the industry since 2001. I was 17 when I was licensed. So I've been in the industry full time for 21 and a half years. I've been lashing for 8.5 years. And I've been teaching for 8 years, which seems crazy, but you remember, I don't know how long you've been lashing, but back in the day, nobody taught. And you would get messages on Instagram and people would say do you educate? And I'm like, no. But then I was like, well, I taught everybody in my salon, so I had somebody fly out to try it out, and I started educating.
Wow, that is so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See, when there's a demand and a need, you definitely need to know how to
Mm-hmm.
set. But yeah, you're so right. Like, I mean, about 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, guys, like
Yeah.
the lash industry was so secretive. It's not like how it is today, where you can just scroll up and down the timeline and see people's technique, how they do things, how, especially how to make a fan. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really only been around maybe the last 4 or 5 years, because nobody used
Really. I
to
don't even think
or put
four or
it out
five
there.
years, probably more like 3 years, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, that's true. That's true. But everybody kept everything like really close to them. They
Yeah.
didn't really devour the content like how it is now.
Yeah.
To be a lash artist now in this era, you have so many resources at your hand. You have so
Mm-hmm.
much more information out there. You have so many more product options. I mean, let's not even get into about pre-mades, how they used to look.
I
And
know.
people used to use like really thick diameters. There was no mega volume
Point
and all this
20.
stuff.
Point 20 and 25.
Yeah, yeah. So man, has the industry come a long way, and it's a great
Yeah.
time to get in the industry
Yeah.
and take advantage, you know. But in order to make a profitable business, you do need to know your expenses. You need to know your
Yeah.
budget. You need to know how much you're spending. And so Gina has wanted to come on here and kind of give you guys some tips as a new lash artist, what you should be
Mhm.
looking out for when it comes to your budget.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'll get a little bit closer. So in the very beginning, I had no idea what I was doing. So I was 17. I had one job. It was at a little coffee drive-through called Mocha Mama's. And
That's
I
so
had no idea how to file your own taxes. So when the first day that I started at the salon that I started at, I was really lucky. The owner's name was Julie, and she handed me this piece of paper, and she said, "Here's your P&L. This is what I want you to keep track of. Every week, you're going to fill these columns out, and at the end of every month, you're going to make sure you add up all your numbers, and that's what that's what's going to give you your net." And I was like, uh-huh. So when you first start, when you graduate, even before you graduate, because you guys in beauty school, that's a tax deduction. So you're going to keep track of every penny that you spend on, well, you guys are just lashes, right?
yes.
So every penny that you spend on lashes, your phone, as long as you're calling it your business phone and not your cell phone, that's an expense. And you know, when somebody says, "Do you use it for 100% business?" Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yes. So if you use something 100%, then it's a write-off. If you don't, it's not. So I guess I suppose it's how you'd like to word it. So that's up to you. But so you're going to want to pay attention to three main things: your profit, your deductions, and your net. So there's your gross, there's your expenses, and then there's your net. They're called multiple different things. It gets very confusing when you're first diving into it, but basically it's how much money you make from your business, how much money you spend on your business, and then how much money you actually made. For example, let's say you made $1,000 this week and you spent 150 on taxes, on rent, and $50 on supplies. That means your net, how much you made after you spent, was 800. So that's basically what that means. It's basic math. You're adding how much you made, you're deducting what you spent, and how much the number is below is your net. That's how much you guys pay taxes on.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for breaking that down. Wow,
Sure.
that is so awesome. So that's why it's so important, guys, to know how much your expenses are.
Yeah.
So one, you can keep track of it, you can manage it, you can, you know, try to find times where you can save money. Like I know in our last live with Untamed Artistry, I was telling the people on the live, you know, Black Friday is one of the biggest sales. That is one of
Yeah.
the time as a new lash artist when you're trying to save, or
Mm-hmm.
when you are trying to go all out, maybe to add decorations, buy a
Yeah.
humidifier. There's so many other things that are on sale, not just lash artist wise, that you
Mm-hmm.
can really, really maximize those savings in that time to buy in. But it takes a lot of planning
Mm-hmm.
ahead, knowing like, okay, I'm going to wait out on this, you know.
Yeah.
I know I need a new rug, but it's only 8 weeks away. I'm going to wait out on this and start setting the money aside so that when it rolls around, you do have the budget to, you know,
Yeah.
partake in the sale and stuff like that.
Yeah. If you guys want a tip, like if you're like, I don't have 2,500 bucks to drop on Black Friday, start planning for next year. So if you're going to spend $2,500, divide 2,500 by how many months there are in the year, and that's how much you're going to put away a month. So put away like 250 bucks a month, which is maybe like 65 bucks a week away. That way you guys can buy almost 100% of your supplies when they're all on sale. And you have one receipt, one main receipt that you have to keep track of and itemize, because every time you buy something and you write it off, you have to show proof on your taxes that you spent that. So if you guys have one big fat receipt and you save 30% or 20%, whatever you're saving for your Black Friday purchase, it's so easy. It's so easy. And one of the biggest mistakes that I've read is people not writing off a receipt under $50 or under. That adds up quickly.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It does. I know when I was a lash artist, I would go to the Dollar Tree, and the Dollar Tree, they have the individual fun pack sizes of candy. And
Mm-hmm.
like every 3 months, every 2 months, I would automatically spend like $40 because I would
Yeah.
stickers, fun
Well,
pack.
$40 a year is 480 bucks a month is $480 a year. So that,
Yeah,
see how quickly that adds up?
it does. It really, really
Yeah.
does. Wow, that is so awesome. Wow. Somebody said my kids keep distracting me. Please post this for later. Yes, we will post this for later, Griselda. No worries. So yeah, let's see what else, what other tips can you give to the audience about budgeting and saving for
So
their.
I just wanted to share with you guys how to do a weekly budget and how that gives you an additional 4 weeks of pay for free. So I want you guys to, if you're on your phone, I'll do the math for you because nobody's on their computer, right? So if you do the math, there's 4 weeks in a month, right? Well, how many weeks are there in a year? There's 52. So when you divide 52 by 4, that's 13. So that means there's 13 months. And you're like, no, there isn't. There's only 12. Well, that's because there's a couple of extra weeks in between the months. So every quarter, you guys have an extra week for free. If you keep stocking that up at the end of the year, you're going to have an additional free 4 weeks of pay that you, if you're smart, will save half of it, put some of it away for retirement. Maybe that's what you used for your Black Friday for the following year. But if you guys do everything on a weekly budget, you end up getting an additional month of pay a year just by doing a math of 4. It's very, very simple. So if you guys, I'll use very, very basic numbers. So let's say somebody's bills are $2,000, right? So if you're working on a 4-week budget, you guys would be putting away $500 a week, right? Because 500 times 4 is 2,000. So if you guys figure out, okay, so now I know how much I have to make per week. Let's say you're like, okay, well, how much do I have to make a day? So let's say you work 5 days a week. That means you have to make $100 a day before you can spend any money at Target, before you can go buy makeup at Sephora. So once you hit that $100, everything after is extra, right? So if you guys break your budget down in a simplified manner like that, you know, I have to make this amount of money. I have to have this many clients, and I always recommend having a wiggle day. So if you can squeeze it to 4 days, or if you have every other Saturday that you can work for makeup clients, because it's going to happen where somebody cancels last minute, somebody no shows, somebody, 2 people show up at the same time, and you're like, oh my God, she was right after her. I messed up, and now I have a gap after her. I have a full in-depth video that I'm posting within the next 48 hours on our YouTube channel. It's called, if you guys, everybody subscribe to YouTube. It's
Yeah,
called,
what's the YouTube channel?
it's called Lights, Camera, Lashing with SOCO lashes. So we're going to be posting a really full in-depth, and the whole video tells you how to get an additional 9.5 months, 10 if you work a few extra days of free pay a year just by dividing a different way, how I did it since I was 17, and by moving your schedule, or I guess organizing your schedule in the way that I did. Like, I'm 39 years old. My house is paid off. I don't have credit card debt. I am debt free because I've always done since day one the 3-week method. I put money in my savings account. You just have to make sure you're doing things smart, because at the end of the day, it's just us, and everybody's like, oh, you're fine. Well, if you're audited, nobody's going to be there for you. And if you're audited, they can go back as far as 6 years, you guys. So let's just do a little math. let's say you owe $10,000 a year. That is a normal number that people owe that work full time. Let's say you owe $10,000 a year and you're just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to kind of flip it. Well, after 6 years, if you're caught, let's say you're audited last year and they figure out, whoa, you owe us 10 grand. Then they're going to go back. If there's 2 years, they can go back and say, we're just going to audit the last 6 years. If you owe 60 grand, that will bury somebody. And not only do you owe them 60 grand, you're going to owe them 20 to whatever percentage they want to charge you for interest and penalties. So you could really owe them 80 grand for just not doing things the right way.
Yeah.
And it could kill somebody's business, you know?
Oh, wow.
And you guys have to do it. It's not fun. It's not exciting. It's really, really scary, but you have to do it. And I'm going to pull, hold on. I think I have one here. This is, okay. So remember I said at the beginning of this, when I started my first job, she handed me this piece of paper. It was a basic P&L. P&L means profit and loss. You guys remember what that means? How much you made, how much you lost, and how much you actually made, which is the number that you pay taxes on. That's called your net. So I made a more in-depth version of this. It's just our SOCO book. I think we call it My Year. And we don't call it taxes just because I don't do taxes. This gets your numbers prepared for the person that prepares your taxes or files your taxes. So it teaches you everything that I just told you about budgeting. It goes over words that you like pretend to know. You're like, yeah. And then you have to Google really quickly. I just wanted to make it really user-friendly. I included all the verbiage that I pretended to know what they meant for years. And then I just added them in here because I know that there are a lot of people that have been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years. And they're like, I still don't know what that means. I'm not going to ask now because I'm embarrassed, and it is what it is. I'm just going to give it to all my accountant. But if you learn how to prepare your numbers yourself, your taxes will be 1/2, 1/3, 1/4 of the price that you're paying, because all you're doing at the end of the year is filling out this last sheet of paper, and you're handing this to your tax preparer. So he doesn't need to see your receipts. He just needs this one piece of paper, and he's transferring the numbers. He's doing the math, making sure everything lines up. And that's it. So it makes everything easy.
Yes.
And simple. You have to break it down in a simplified manner so it's not scary to people.
Yeah. And you have to be consistent, like using it week by week, because it's easier to manage. Like if you wait on order.
We have here, let's see here. So I have it set up for 3 different businesses. So for those of you who do lashes, for those of you who sell product, or maybe you own a company and you rent booths, maybe you are an educator, I have 3 different businesses, so you can itemize 3 different businesses at the same time, and you'll see not every month is the same. So I'm just going to show you week 1 in January, but you can see it's backwards, but you can see this is Sunday. Does it start with, Monday. It's backwards on the TV. So you have Monday all the way through Sunday. So if you do this every day, you just write your number. Like I made $400 today. I made $80. So you add this up and you have room for 3 different businesses. It keeps everything organized. It tells you, like I call it the envelope system. I did envelopes I still do envelopes. On the YouTube video that I'm going to be posting, I actually pull out my old envelope that I used when I was still doing this, when I did lashes, and I just keep it because it's like kind of nostalgic. It's like sentimental, because it's like how I got where I am.
Someone said, can they use it for PMU also, like permanent makeup?
Yes, this is for anything. This is completely blank slate. So I had clients who, when I was in Sonoma County, I had a couple clients who were personal trainers that used it. I had a client who was a house cleaner who used it. That's just off the top of my head, but it's a blank slate. It's not just for lashes. And it doesn't say, let me show you one other thing. And you guys, it shows you at the end of every month, you're going to learn how to get your year to date. That just means how much you've made from the day 1 of the year to date, which would be today. So it explains literally everything. At the end of the month, this is what you're going to do. And then the following month, it shows you how to add the 2 months together. And then you're going to add the year to date for March, then April, and it explains everything. So you're like, these words that you hear people talking about, and you're like, God, how do they know that? You're going to know that too, because it's so basic and simple. And I wanted to show you here. What did I... This is it. Okay, so if you can see, I think it's going to be backwards, but it just says on here, it says accounting, advertising, bank fees, business phone bill, business supplies. It doesn't say anything about lashing or hair. It's just basic blank slate. Anybody can do this. If you're a daycare provider, you can do this. It's just a basic business profit and loss book. So anybody can do it.
Wow, love that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, what about using QuickBooks? Because that is what I use for my bookkeeping.
If you use QuickBooks, you could input all of that in QuickBooks. I don't know how QuickBooks does it. My brain, I think a lot of us in this industry, obviously, are creatives, and digital with a creative mind oftentimes does not work. And that's how my brain is. I have to write it down. Like, look, these were my notes. I have to write everything down. I don't do digital. I was born not in that generation. I just barely missed it. And so I have to write things down. But if you use this book to organize, then all you're going to do is import your numbers to your QuickBooks, and then you can email that over to your tax preparer.
Yeah. I guess you could use, definitely use the journal like as you're going through the whole day throughout the week, and then maybe on Mondays sit down and input all of that into your QuickBooks. But I think what's good about writing it down is it holds you accountable. It's tangible. You can see it. You don't have to log into anywhere. You just something that is just more accessible for you to do as it's coming in. Which in the end helps you be consistent. Someone said, is this organizer available somewhere?
Yeah, so everybody can go to SOCOlashes.com. I believe they're $25. I get two. I use two. I use one that I have at my salon that I keep every day. I write my notes in it. And then at the end of the month, I bring it home and I write it nice and neat. Because if you're audited and you have scribbles in this, it looks messy. If you're audited and you have a book that shows them, like, this is how I keep track of everything, and this is what I have to show you, they're going to say, like, oh, she actually does have everything organized. She's very organized. They're not going to mess with you. And if you have a mistake and you look like you're trying, they're just going to penalize you for what you owe and move on. They really, really start digging into people who look like they come in with a box of receipts and they're like, they're sweating and they don't know the answer to anything. But if you guys look like you're actually trying and you made an honest mistake, or let's say you didn't make an honest mistake, but you are organized and you said, like, I don't know, this is very stressful to me. As long as you look organized, they're not going to mess with you.
Yeah. Someone said, is the mileage a write-off for going to work? It depends.
No. Yeah. Okay, so you cannot write your mileage off for going to work if you have a place of business. If you're going to purchase, supplies, that's a write-off. If you're going to your client's house, if you have a license to do so, you can write that off. But I would not write mileage off. If you're doing like a big trip, that's fine. But if you're writing mileage off, you literally have to notate every single time. And if you miss a date when you're audited, it's a freaking mess, you guys. And that is one of the big triggers that will red flag you to be audited. Okay, you want to hear 3 of the red flags that I learned from my client who was my accountant for a long time when I did lashes? Calling your cell phone your business phone your cell phone. Call it your business phone. Mileage, and writing off square footage in your house. It's too hard to dictate what this room is valued at when you're saying, like, okay, what is the house valued at versus what is the land valued at? How do you get that? My accountant wouldn't even file my taxes if I wanted to write off my office. I'm in my home office. I have a home office, and I don't even mess with it. Those are the 3 things I do not mess with. If you guys want to write off your car, write off your car. Not gas, not mileage, unless you're going somewhere. If you're going on a trip, you can write that off because it's like a whoop, whoop. It's a very easy to manage and keep track of. But when you're audited, you guys, they can confiscate your desktop, your laptop, your cell phone, your extra phone. And if you don't provide that to them, I don't know if I can cuss on here, you're effed. So they will literally take it and they keep it for as long as they want. So it's serious business if you're audited and you have been blatant about not being honest. They will take your office.
Yeah. Someone said, is there a certain car you can write off? It depends.
Any car you can write off as long as your car is your business car. Now, you guys remember, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a tax preparer. That would be a question for your tax preparer, whoever's filing your taxes. every year the law changes. So for example, if you guys didn't know, 2020 and 2021, you can write 100% of your dinners and meals and outings if it's a business. Whereas prior to this, it was only 30% of a write-off. So I would just tell my girls, like, just pay in cash and leave that aside. Don't even claim that, because let's say we go out to dinner, you and I, and it's $100 and I write that off 2 years ago. I can write off 30% of that, but I'm still paying taxes on 70% of that. So that's stupid. Why would I do that? Right? So 2020 and 2021, it's 100% of a tax write-off. I think that they did it for some COVID relief expense. I don't know. Again, I'm not an accountant, but I do know through this year, you're able to write 100% of that off. Double check with your tax person, whoever files your taxes, because I am legally not, I don't do that for a living. But that's what I have been told by my accountant.
Disclaimer. Lashes by Marlon said, what about lash courses? I'm not sure what you're
saying. Education. If you're spending money on education, 100% yes. Make sure you get proof of that. You have to have a receipt that you paid. And when sending you an invoice is not a receipt. You need a receipt of that being paid. Yeah. Okay. And if you're paying for it, if and when you're audited, they have to see that coming out of your account. You just can't pay cash for it and write it off. You have to make sure it's traceable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. The biggest thing that they're looking for is keeping track of everything.
Yeah.
An organization, like you were saying, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. I definitely learned something. I did not know.
Yay.
Back 6 years for your taxes.
And wow. I double checked that 2 days ago on like irs.gov. They can go back up to 6 years. It used to be 7 when I first started. And then I heard a lot of 4, but I just went on the IRS website 2 days ago. And according to the IRS website itself, it was up to 6 years.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, guys, it's the time to start. I would always say, if you want to be a business owner, you should start all the paper type of stuff from day one. Budgeting, keeping all of your documents. I cannot tell you how important it is to keep all of your documents, your EIN number, with your state, all your licenses. Keep an extra copy of all that type of stuff. Yeah. And of course, when you're paying for anything, filing, all the filing fees, make sure you keep
everything. Yeah. So somebody asked about a credit card. You can still do that. It makes it extremely complicated. So when you know better, you do better, right? Maya Angelou says this. Whatever she says is Bible. So now that you know this, moving forward, you're going to have a completely different, separate account, so that you're not using a credit card, you're using a debit, or if you need that credit card, it's all coming from the same account, so you can print out one statement. If you're kind of mixing it with your business and your personal, you literally have to go through and highlighter, and that's when taxes get overwhelming. So if you're like, well, because how I used to think to do it my very first year before I really got the hang of this, I would take all of my money and I would put it in my account. But the thing is, you want to put it in a business account, and then you figure out what you're paying yourself. So at the end of every week, you transfer the money from your business, because what you guys don't realize is your business is its own entity. Your business has its own business license, and then you have a license saying that I'm a lash artist, I do lashes. The business pays you. You aren't the business, even though you're the face of the business. According to the law, your business is an entity and your business pays you. So if you're paying yourself out every hour, how are you going to itemize that? That is very, very difficult to do. Put it all in your business account at the end of the week, at the end of the month, however you guys decide to do your budgeting, that's when you're going to transfer. Okay. You guys remember, you're going to have your number. It's $2,000. At the end of every week, you're going to transfer $500 into your personal account. If you want a little bit of extra, you have to add that into your budgeting. You don't touch what's in your business account until the end of the year, when you know how much you owe in taxes. If you if you mess up and you guys realize that you don't owe $6,000, you owe $26,000, you are screwed. But the thing to know is, it's not your money until the end of the day, until the fat lady sings and she tells you, all right, I'm the IRS and this is your money and this is my money. So if you accidentally make, you don't add a 0 to something and you owe 26 instead of 6, you're so screwed. Yeah. So it's not your money, you guys. It's not your money until the end of the year, and you know what's yours. So that's something. And you guys will see these small businesses and they're like, whatever happened to so and so? They just disappeared. It's probably because they didn't do their finances well,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yep.
know?
Yep. That's so true. Uh,
Yeah.
wow, they're coming with some good questions. Someone said, "Is it a good idea to add yourself owner on payroll?"
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yes, 100%. If you have, wait, if you're just a sole proprietor, which I think is the most basic way to go, I'll tell you something else too. If you're an owner, you can write yourself a check, and what you will call it is I believe it's called an owner's withdrawal, and you write it in your memo. So you just write, you can go into the bank. You guys, I literally went into the bank every single Friday to do this because I can't do things digitally. My brain doesn't work that way. And I had the check balance book, you know, like the register. So every Friday or whatever the end of your week is, if you don't want to go Friday, you have to do it Saturday. And this is something you have to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to create the pattern. So if you do it on
Yeah.
Saturday, do it every Saturday. Don't
Yeah.
have on Monday, Wednesday, this week, it looks
Yeah.
sloppy. When you're
Yeah.
owner's draw, it has to be consistent.
Correct. You can also work it out with your bank where this is done automatically. You write a voided check to yourself, or wait, you give a voided check to your bank account, your business account, and that account will just automatically transfer that in. So it's owner's withdrawal, a repetitious owner's withdrawal at the end of every week, you guys. Yeah.
Someone else said, "Is it a good idea?" Oh no. Do you do coaching calls?
I absolutely, yes, 100% do coaching calls. And you guys, like, I've had people that we just go over all of their taxes, all of their numbers, and we do 3 or 4 different phone calls because they're like, I can't do this by myself. And they're upset and they're crying and they feel like, I didn't even finish last year's. Now I have 2 years to do. I will help you guys with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The owner draw. See, the owner's draw is something depending on how you're structured. So,
Yeah.
for example, I have an LLC and we are taxed as an S corp. So I am listed as a W-2 from the through the business. So I get paid every 2 weeks, just like everybody else does.
Yep.
Then I take an owner's draw once a month, and the owner's draw is like a distribution that I'm taking out of the business.
Yeah, so you know, guys, when you go in and you withdraw money, you're like, "Hi, I'm here to make a withdrawal." All it is an owner's withdrawal, and because it's an owner's withdrawal, you don't have to worry about itemizing that as a paycheck. You already know that you have to pay taxes on that, and it's being transferred. But it's very confusing if you're doing different amounts all the time. Make it the same price. You could also, if you're like, I don't want to do that, I just want to, because owner's withdrawal scares me, write yourself a check. I would write a check to Jena Cash from SOCO Lashes every week, every 2 weeks. I like weekly because I do the weekly budget, you guys. So I would write myself a check from my business, deposit it, and that's how I would do it. When I do my owner's withdrawal would be at the end of the year when I've already paid my taxes. I know everything's good. I always have my numbers done before the year was over because I would just rough estimate guess, like, I just want to get it done and over with.
Yeah.
If you want a tip, again, I'm not a professional, but I got this tip and I have never been audited. In 21 years, they said, don't file your taxes early, file it the day they're due, because the people that file their taxes early, those are sitting with the IRS and they're like, I'll just comb through a bunch of these. You want to file your taxes when everybody's got their taxes in, when the people at the IRS are like, ah.
Yeah.
So don't file your taxes early. Be there at 11:50 to mail your check on, I think it's the 20th, right?
Yes, this is 20.
Yeah.
She said, what is it used for? It's used for whatever you want. It's how you pay yourself from your business.
Yeah.
Reputable like owner. So either you pay yourself through W-2 or you pay yourself through owner's draw. But you want to, basically, we're just saying a way to keep it as professional as possible from it to yourself, so that at the end of the year, when your taxes and all that type of stuff, you have a record keeping of you paying yourself, not just you made dollars.
Let me hold on. Let me find the website for you right now, you guys, because if you guys, I know you're like, owner's withdrawal. It sounds so overwhelming, but let me go to, I'm going to give you the website right now and I'll copy and paste it so that you can share it. You can go to the IRS website and it tells you your tax bracket. So do you guys know, does anybody know how the tax brackets work? Do you know how the tax brackets work? So have you ever heard somebody say, I'm in the 36th percentile, I'm in the 28th percentile, right? Have you heard that?
Yeah, based off of how much you make or how you
Right.
set up, you have a tax bracket.
Right. So let's say you're like, oh, I'm in the 30% tax bracket. So that means you have to pay 30%. But you're not paying 30% for your whole income. Like from $1 to 11,000, you pay 10%. And then from $11,001 to 22,000, you pay 12%. So it's not the same, you guys. You don't pay 30% of all of your income. You pay 30% on like from 150,000 to 205,000 or something like that. I'm gonna find the website. But if you have this, you guys will literally know exactly how much you have to put away. And the secret to this is always rounding up. And you just have to think of it like your savings account.
Yep, always round up, because it's better to have more than enough than not have not enough at the end of the year when it's time to pay your taxes. And whatever is over, you got to take a vacation or invest back into yourself, but you won't have anything if you don't start saving now.
Yeah. And you guys, so for the people that are overwhelmed and confused, when you're doing lashes, okay, you're a business, you're a legal business, you have a license. If you don't have a business license and you have a cosmetology license, you're in big trouble, because if you have a license that isn't backed up by a business license and you're depositing money, you're going to get audited. You have to have a license, a business license, if you don't want to be audited, and you can get away with it. But if you're caught, you're going to regret it. So when you're working as a lash artist and you get paid, Jena Cash isn't getting paid. SOCO Lashes is getting paid, right? And you're like, it's me, it's my business. Yes, but to the government, it's the business, because that's what the license falls under. So here is this money. Every time your client gives you money, it goes into your bank account. That's your business bank account. Then me, my Jena account, my business pays me, if that makes sense, if that clarifies. If you want to cut yourself a check, the only thing that payroll does is it deducts the estimated taxes for you. You can still write yourself a check. And if I'm going to give you the website so you know, if you have a secondary savings account that you label, this is my tax savings account. At the end of the year, you're rounding up. Anyways, I hope, so that at the end of the year, if you owe 27,000 and you have 36 in there, you're gonna be like, hell yeah, I just made $9,000. IRS.gov. Okay, here you go. IRS.gov, tax bracket.
Your
Here we go.
license is basically your EIN number. And just registering with your county and your state. Like when you open up a salon, you need a business license. That's what you.
If you don't have, if you're like, I don't have an EIN number, it would just be your social security number if you're a sole proprietor. So keep it simple as long as you guys can.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go to NerdWallet. Okay, are you guys ready? I'm gonna wait just a few minutes for you guys to get a pen and paper, and I'm gonna tell you, according to nerdwallet.com, this tells you your tax bracket for 2022, so I can tell you exactly how much you have to put away. How long should I wait? Like 2 minutes?
Yeah, let's answer this question. Do you do your taxes separate from your personal, or do you do them together? You do them separate. You would do your business taxes first and then your personal taxes.
So if you're paying taxes on your business, then you don't have to pay taxes on your personal, technically speaking, because it's all coming out of the same pot. So it just depends on how you're filing.
Yeah, if you're a sole proprietor, it depends on how
Yeah.
you structure, guys. Like how you structure your business. If you're a sole proprietor, LLC, or taxed as an S corp, however you set up your business, or a DBA would fall under a S corp basically. But really, you can do a DBA and file your business in your personal. It's all together. Like
my DBA means doing business as, you guys. So if it was like Lashes by Jena Cash, that's DBA, my doing business as Lashes by Jena Cash, because it says your name in it. So if you have here's another thing. If you have a business name that's called SOCO Lashes, and it's not Jena Cash with SOCO Lashes, and that's not in the account, you can't cash a check that says SOCO Lashes. You can't cash it. So you have to have a fictitious business license. I think it's free, but you have to pay to run an ad in the paper. It's so old school and stupid. But sole proprietor and DBA is the easiest, you guys, doing business as. That way you can say Lashes by Jena Cash. My business was Beauty by Jena Cash forever, because I did nails, then I did hair, so I just had Beauty by Jena Cash. It was easy.
Yeah, I would say, I'm not a tax professional either, but the advice that I see is if you make anything less than $60,000 a year, it's best to just be a sole proprietor. And if you make more $1,000 a year and have employees, then that's the time that you can file as a LLC. But you're never stuck. You can always start the DBA and then file later after DBA under that. So it's best to get the process started. Like I started out with a DBA before I made my LLC, and everything was fine. So,
and you guys, when you go to the county and you're just like, I'm just myself, you're just going to say sole proprietor. All that means is there's only one person. And then the next phase would be partnership. And then the next would be, do you want to do LLC? Do you want to do S Corp? There's different tax benefits. Again, you can talk to your accountant, but just do S Corp, and never, please, ever do a partnership. I will do a whole video on YouTube about why I never have done a partnership until SOCO Lashes reached over 7 figures, and I couldn't do it by myself. But you know, I didn't just pick anybody. I picked somebody with 2 master's degrees to be my business partner, because you want to find somebody who's good at doing the things that you're bad at. But just do a sole proprietor. Okay, are you guys ready for the tax bracket? So this is for taxes in 2023, meaning the year of 2022. So it reads 2022 federal income tax brackets for taxes due April 2023. If you made up to $10,275, you pay 10%. Anything from $10,276 all the way up to $41,775, you pay 12%. Only on that bracket, you guys. So the first 10,000, you only pay 10%. Now for the next bracket, from the next chunk of money you make from 10,000 to 41,000, 12%. When you go into the next, when you're making more money, once you hit $41,776 to $89,075, you're paying 22%. And then it goes up to there. And then it goes like $89,076 to $170,050, which is probably the highest bracket a lash artist would be in as a sole proprietor. Then you're paying 24% of the money that you make from $89,000 to $170,000, and then so on. But I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to copy.
So basically, guys, if you charge $100 for a full set, you need to be setting aside $24 to go towards your taxes if you're looking to make anywhere between 80.
Yeah.
To 100.
So it says 22%, but you're 100% right. Round up, because there are going to be things that you write off that they're like, oh, you can't write that off this year. And those are the things that I say, like, you're going to make a mistake because you're going off of what the laws were last year, and this year you can't write it off anymore. So, like, I'll give you a real BS example. When people used to own a home, you could write off all of your interest. Now you can only write $10,000. So people that had, like, I don't know, $25,000 of interest that they had been writing off every year, now they can only write $10,000 in interest off a year. And that's just, if they say this is the new rule, unfortunately, that's just the new rule. It sucks.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to vote, which vote is happening right now, guys. I'm going to go vote tomorrow.
Good job.
But yeah, man, wow, the information, I've learned so much with this live.
Good. Well, you know, I've been doing this for 21 years, and I learned a lot my first year, but I've been doing it the right way since year 1. And, you know, year 1, I had a lot of things that I was learning. Yeah. Paste. Okay, so I just pasted the link. So let me see what happens. When you click on it, it opens, and you guys are just going to scroll down. It's literally right there. It says 2022 through 2023 brackets, and you scroll down. It's right there. When you start to scroll, you'll see it. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so this, can you see the website?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you click on the link, you'll click on it. It brings you to this. All you do is you scroll down, and this is your tax bracket right here. So you know how much you're going to have to put away.
Nice. Yeah. Wow. I love this topic. I feel like this is the most questions we got asked while we were.
Yay, cool.
So maybe we should do like a part 2 series where we come back. Yeah. But again, Jena has a resource for you guys. You guys can go and purchase her book. Can you show them the book again?
Yeah. I'll send you the link to that too. So this is what it looks like, you guys. I think it's backwards for you guys. Let me go to SOCO Lashes.
Yeah, DM me a link, because I'll story tomorrow driving traffic to this live, since we'll save it. and letting everybody know. Oh no, sorry.
And you guys get to, because you're going to make so many mistakes and erasers, and it's nice to have the one at the end of the month to just transfer everything over and have it be clean. They're $25.
Oh, Anne Marie said part 2 with a worksheet. I love that.
Hey, you guys know what? If you guys get a bunch of people that buy the book, I'll go over the book with you guys.
Yeah, honestly, I might need to get with you. This might be something, because we no longer do graduation. So this might be something that we can use for their gift bags. You know how we reach
Yeah.
for the graduation gift bag, and
That's so cool.
we'll have a small budget. So things
Yeah.
like what I'm willing to like buy and send.
For sure. And we'll give you a discount, so don't feel like you're paying full price.
No, of course. But and then maybe would you want to be a speaker to kind of go over it?
Absolutely, yeah. When is your next graduation?
The next one, it is in March. I think it's March 18th, and it's virtual.
You know what? I'm a speaker at Lash Fest in London the last week. So
Okay.
hold on, let me look at my date real quickly.
But
I'm looking for my phone. It's right there.
I can it's not solid. We can move it around. It is virtual. So we try.
Oh, easy. Okay, I can do virtual easy. I was gonna try and fly out, but you guys don't.
No, ma'am. It's all virtual. It's a virtual graduation, and after this, we're not even doing it no more. So
how come? That sucks.
Because I feel like people, they are so hyped on the graduation, but they don't actually go get their license. Like if I tell you the numbers of how many people have attended graduation and they never went to go take their test, and it kind of just breaks my heart. And then people don't show up, and we're planning and the staffing to like get everything running, corresponding back and forth with all of you guys and all the hard work. I feel like we could really use the resource in a different way. Like I'm trying to work with a salon and a gym like Lifetime Fitness to get up and running the eyelash extension program, so that I can send my students and have job placement. So I'm trying to use my energy resources that way versus the graduation. Plus the graduation.
You should do like a graduation like in March for like everybody that got licensed or something like that.
Well, that's pretty much what we do. But you know, at the same time, we just celebrate everybody completing the program. It's hard to like exclude them from like getting their license and like, well, you can't graduation because they did complete the program. And
no, I'm saying you could do a special ceremony or appreciation for the people, like a congratulatory for getting your license.
Yeah, but that's after this next one. After this next,
you're over it. You don't want to do it
anymore. Done with it. They're just gonna get the completion of the program and certification. And that's it. And then we might continue to still do the gift bags, but like very, very small gift bags. So we're kind of restructuring. You know. Another thing is when we were having them in person, people would RSVP and then they didn't come, and then we ordered a whole bunch of food. And
you know what you should do? You should say you don't get your final paperwork unless you show up.
It's hard to do all that because they want to get their license. You do have some people that want to do their license, and we have to release their hours before they go take their tests, and it's just like hard to keep track of that many people.
Yeah, okay. Why would you not want to celebrate that? Like how you completed something.
Yeah, I know.
That's weird. That's strange.
It's cool, whatever. But okay, so definitely I'm gonna reach out to you. I need the link for the budget. I mean, for the actual book, so I can do a story. And then let's definitely do another live next month. Same topic. Yeah. Maybe we dive a little bit deeper. And I can start talking about the book and letting people know, like, hey, we're going to do it live. Make sure you get your book. So if you have any questions, she'll be on, that type of stuff. So,
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. We'll touch base, and then you just let me know, and we'll kind of cross over our schedules and see what works.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you so much, Jena, for your time.
You're welcome. Bye, you guys. Thanks for hopping on, you guys. Nice to meet everybody. Hi from California.
All the way from California. You have a great night.
Hayden wants to say goodbye.
Bye. See you later.
You have chocolate. She has chocolate on her face.
She's so cute. I love her hair.
Thank you. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys. Have a good
See ya.